Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So I'm thinking about certain players, man. I don't really have a bunch of names in mind right now. I really don't. I'd like to put together this list, and I will, but I just wanted to come here and vent. I'm really tired of seeing young talent in the NBA basketball benches who I know damn well are better than some of these players they're playing behind. This dates back to when I was a child watching Jermaine O'Neal sitting on the back of the Portland bench, knowing full well that he was probably going to turn into something one day, and he did. He really did, obviously. But this is something that really bothers me. I see this all over the league. I'm looking at the box score of the Denver game. They're playing against Minnesota tonight, and I look down there. I see Bol Bol, 0 minutes. And it's like, yo, I'm not the greatest basketball mind. You guys know this. I'm learning the game as I go along. I have a unique way of putting things together from a GM's perspective, and I think that's where I hang my hat. As far as X's and O's, I'm still learning. I'm more so about feel. I've been watching the game more so than playing it. So I come from a certain perspective, and I'm okay with that. But I just don't understand when I'm looking at Bol Bol play, even in the summer league highlights, when I did a little homework on him when I was putting together my little Nuggets talk video. It was nothing about his game or his upside that told me that you can't find a room for him in your regular rotation. Now, maybe he's hurt. Maybe that's why he's not playing tonight. Last time I saw him on the floor, he was playing in garbage time, and he was lighting it up, shooting threes, dunking the blocking shots. He looked great. He was playing in garbage time, though. But I don't look at that player and I say, okay, well, he's made so many mistakes that, maybe coach just don't see enough of him in practice that makes him feel good about it. I don't get the feeling that he's not killing people in practice. I'm lost because this year 3, so I can understand year 1 you don't play him. Year 2 you still got him behind people. Year 3 you still ain't playing this kid. And I'm not trying to take nothing away from their roster. They're a good team. They're a winning team. But this kid is like what? I don't have his metrics in my head, but he has a standard reach of probably like 8'10". It's probably 7'7" wingspan or something ridiculous. He dribbles the ball like a guard. He shoots the ball like the wind. He blocks shots with ease and gets steals because of his length. He drives to the basket. He's aggressive. And I don't think I've seen him miss more than maybe 10 shots in the entire time I've seen him play. I don't think I've seen him miss very much at all. Just from my eyesight, he don't miss anything. So, you ain't about to tell me he's a defensive liability, because clearly he's everything but. You're not going to tell me that you can't use him in the offense because he's a 7-footer that shoots threes. You got guys that can't do nothing in this league but shoot threes at 7 feet, and that's y'all paying him money just to be out there shooting. This dude can do a lot more than that, being that he has guard skills, which means you could put him at the 2 guard spot, and I'd like to find a single 2 guard who's going to have anything but a long night going up against this kid. Anyone, find one. Find a 2 guard in this league that can guard him. You're going to have to get your 4 and put it on that dude. That's what's going to happen. So he's a mismatch at all times. And I'm looking at guys like and I don't want to take away nothing from great prospects, but I'm looking at a guy like Mo Bamba. I'm looking at a guy like Evan Mobley, and I look at Bol Bol, and I'm like, yeah, his stats would be the same. Literally, he would put up those type of stats if you give him playing time just off length alone and skill set alone. So what I believe is happening there is the same thing I said with Romeo Langford. It's the same thing I have a problem with some of the other players around the league that just are not getting playing time. They're just in a weird situation where their franchises, in my opinion, have given guys contracts, and they're playing those guys because of it. It's not necessarily because they're the best fit for the team or because these guys have the greatest upside or even because they give them the best opportunity to win. It's because they got to justify why they gave those contracts to those guys, so they're going to play them because they paid them. And it's like, but your team continues to suck because you continue to have these players that have all this upside continue to be drained of their value and drained of their confidence because they're young kids in these situations not getting playing time. Kevin Knox is a guy I've talked about. He's one just kind of stuck on the back of benches. And it's like, some of these guys never get a chance to grow. They literally go into retirement having never shown that they were really prospects because they went into these situations with politics and various incompetence keeping them from being able to be seen as their best selves. It's one of the main things that have made it so that I started this channel. You know, I've made this video probably once before, but just continuing to see it is just more and more reason why it's so important for me to reiterate this point every time I feel the need, because it's something that's very prevalent in the NBA and probably other sports as well. You just understand that business is very important, obviously, but you also understand that putting a good product on the floor is what ultimately is your bread and butter. And if you keep the main thing, just like the best player in the game always tells us, everything else seems to take care of itself. And it just seems to me that we get so far away from the product on the floor because we're trying to justify decision making based on guys that don't play no basketball. GM's decisions, owners' decisions, scouts' choices and things. You got to justify all this nonsense instead of just finding guys who have the best possible opportunity and just putting them on the floor and letting them do what it is that they do best. And I think sometimes it's just, well, guys are too young, their bodies are not ready. And that part I respect. Some guys are not ready. But even the guys who are not ready, when they're really, really talented, they still go out there and show you glimpses of what it is they can be, and they get valuable experience playing the game. So I just feel like a guy like Bol Bol, who's been in the NBA gym for 3 years, a guy like Romeo Langford, who's been in the NBA gym for several years, a guy like Kevin Knotts, who's been in the NBA gym for several years, should be in situations where now they're able to play as much as they need to get as good as they need to get. And if it just turns out that they suck, fine, get out of here. But I haven't seen enough from all three of those players and a few others that come to mind to say that they should not be playing. But what I can say is some of them dudes they playing behind are on their way out. And honestly, for me as a basketball fan who appreciates the development of the league, if a guy's on his way out, he should be the one kind of further down the depth chart. You know what I mean? Unless he's doing something that's helping the team, unless he's playing well or going off. A lot of times the guys, you look at their plus minus, you look at their stats, they getting these 20 minutes a game. They're not doing nothing with the minutes they're given. The team is down. The seats are empty in the stands. I mean, you got to understand these things are correlated. Meanwhile, you have a star level player on your bench who, if he ascends to who he's supposed to be, will put those people in those stands. Will make the team better. Will put you in a position to have more money. It's like you don't even know you got these stars on your team. And then they get off your roster and they go somewhere else and they're utilized properly and they turn into the asset that you knew you had when you drafted them, but you didn't turn them into yourselves. And that is something that is a huge problem. Huge problem. And so it's like, the kids get the worst of it. Then the media, of course, will speak on the kids if they give them an opportunity to hear their names. It's probably negative, It's probably critical. It's probably this or that, and it's not necessarily on the kid to alone, but also on the organization to put him in a position to do what it is that he does well. So that's what I'm on, man. I'm always going to be on that. That's an everyday thought as I continue to see players not reach their potential, as I continue to see players not given opportunities, especially when they're high-level athletes. We're talking about guys who, and I say this because I understand it to be the case, who we should be happy chose the sport of basketball to even play, because a lot of them could have done a million different things with their bodies because they're so athletic. You know what I mean? For those of us who love the sport of basketball, they could have been anywhere in the world, but they chose this sport. It's like, I don't think a lot of us who view the sport of basketball really look at it that way. But yeah, man, you think about a guy like LeBron James. You know how many different sports he could have played? Yeah, like you think about it, or different guys in different sports. They're like, wow, if they would have tried basketball, they would have killed it over here. You just never know. So I truly appreciate and understand that as a basketball fan, and I just want to see these players given opportunities to shine, and not just have it be about politics, I guess you could say, and justification for decision making that may or may not have been great decision making. You know what I mean? And not every size fits all. This is not for every young player. This is not a conversation that will be applied to each and every situation. Some situations need to be exactly as they are, and I'm not here to define what they are or they're not. But what I am saying is those particular situations that I did speak on, I'd like to see those guys get a lot more playing time, man. I really would. I just think that there are three examples of players that just have not been given their opportunity in this league. Not at all, you know? And maybe they made a few mistakes. Maybe they didn't give themselves an opportunity to be seen as shining, you know, prospects out the gate. But I'm looking at a guy like Lonzo Ball right now who didn't come out like a shining prospect out the gate. I'm looking at a guy like Kyle Kuzma who didn't come out a shining prospect. It's the name's going forever. You know, I had a whole team full of those guys that developed and it took their time. But as they've come along, you see what they are today. You know what I mean? I just feel like some of these guys, it wasn't about them being busts or about the scouts being wrong. It's just about after they got in them organizations, did the organizations do right by those players? Did they give them the best opportunity to succeed? And in some cases, it's yes. In others, hell no. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.